In today's fascinating case, we will explore the mysteries and curiosities of Pompeii, a vibrant and prosperous city in ancient Rome that was devastated by the sudden eruption of Mount Vesuvius, causing one of the greatest tragedies in human history. Its eruptions killed everything from animals to people from different social classes, including slaves, nobles, and as we will see, even descendants of King Herod the Great. Journey with us through these impressive stories and discover more about the customs, life, and intriguing facts surrounding the tragic end of the inhabitants of Pompeii. But before we continue, subscribe to our channel for free and activate the bell for all notifications. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like. This motivates us to continue creating quality content for you. The city of Pompeii was located at the foot of Mount Vesuvius, close to the current city of Naples, in a region of Italy known as Campania. Historians point out that the region began to be inhabited around the Bronze Age, between 3000 and 1200 BC. In the year 79 AD, life in Pompeii followed its normal course. Renowned for its outstanding commercial and cultural center, the city was distinguished by its magnificent architecture, exuberant art, luxurious residences, and imposing temples dedicated to various Roman deities. On the shores of the Mediterranean Sea, the city was at the height of its prosperity, being crucial for the Romans in the transport of various goods. In the 1st century AD, Pompeii had approximately 12,000 inhabitants in the urban area and 24,000 in the rural area. The city also attracted a variety of people from different backgrounds within the Roman Empire and beyond. This included traders, artisans, and people from different parts of the Mediterranean, such as Greeks, Egyptians, Syrians, and even Jews. Despite this environment foreign to Jewish customs and religion, evidence of Jewish presence was discovered in its ruins. Numerous epigraphic remains attest to this presence. Names of some Jewish personalities such as Fabius Eupor and Eutychos were also found. However, life in this outstanding city was not limited only to its architectural beauty and the luxurious existence of its noble inhabitants. There was also a dark side that left a mark on its history, echoing through the centuries to the present day. Archaeological discoveries indicate that Pompeii had a decadent moral environment, evidenced by the vast collection of erotic art found in its ruins, including sensual paintings and statues. In fact, the provocative artifacts in the ancient city were so significant that, when discovered, many were promptly rehidden or kept under lock and key. A modern visitor to Pompeii does not have to look far to see evidence of the city's immoral environment. Several buildings have been identified as likely houses of prostitution, evidenced by explicit murals and graffiti that make their purpose clear. An inscription was also found in the ruins, Sodom Gomorrah, which appears to draw a parallel between the destruction of Pompeii and Herculaneum, neighboring cities, and the destruction of the two biblical cities, which, according to the biblical account, were destroyed by fire and sulfur. In Pompeii, several traditional gods of the Roman religion were also venerated, as archaeological discoveries made since the 18th century reveal. The city had several temples dedicated to the Roman gods, as well as small sanctuaries and homes. Archaeologists have also discovered frescoes depicting religious practices, including a fresco in the Villa of Mysteries, which historians say is likely related to the Dionysian cult, known as the cult of Bacchus among the Romans. Meanwhile, Mount Vesuvius was about to awaken, triggering one of the greatest tragedies in human history. However, the inhabitants of the area did not know that the mount was a volcano and therefore did not imagine the imminent danger. It is believed that one day before the tragedy, on August 23, 79, the inhabitants celebrated the Volcanalia festival in honor of the god Vulcan, a Roman deity associated with fire, including the fire of volcanoes. However, there is disagreement among historians regarding the exact date of the tragedy. Some suggest that the destruction of the city happened at the end of September. If the first date is correct, it is likely that the first signs of a volcanic eruption were interpreted by the region's inhabitants as a sign of the god's satisfaction with the homage paid to him, leading them to ignore the warnings of danger issued by the volcano. Pompeii was devastated by a rain of gigantic stones expelled from Mount Vesuvius, claiming hundreds of lives in a single day. In addition to Pompeii, the eruption of Vesuvius also caused the destruction of other neighboring cities, such as Herculaneum. The following day, weather conditions played a crucial role in amplifying the tragedy. The southeast wind blew strongly towards the city, carrying with it a dense cloud of ash and toxic gases, accompanied by a wave of radiant heat. Within hours, the city was covered in thick layers of these pyroclastic materials, making breathing and visibility difficult. This intense heat was able to roast the flesh of the inhabitants who were unable to escape or find adequate shelter. The weight of volcanic material accumulated on roofs and buildings resulted in the collapse of several structures. This trapped many inhabitants who had sought shelter inside their homes, which ended up contributing to the deaths of those who had survived the hail of stones the previous day. The direction and strength of the wind accelerated Pompeii's burial process, quickly burying the city under meters of ash and pumice. This preserved a part of the city, but it also meant a rapid and tragic loss of life. Among the victims was Gaius Plinius Secundus, known as Pliny the Elder, a naturalist and Roman official. He was off the coast of Miseno when the eruption began, and upon learning of the disaster, decided to prepare his ship and go to the site to help and carry out scientific studies. However, he died from inhaling toxic volcanic gases while trying to rescue people and record the event. The report of the tragedy was made 25 years later by Pliny the Younger, his nephew. Another victim of the eruption of Vesuvius was Drusilla, great-granddaughter of Herod the Great. Herod is mentioned in the Bible for ordering the death of children under the age of 2 upon learning of the birth of Jesus, who he considered a threat to his reign. Drusilla was a beautiful Jewess who had divorced her husband Aziz to illegally marry Claudius Felix, Roman governor of the province of Judea. Felix is mentioned in the biblical book of Acts of the Apostles, where he receives the Apostle Paul so that he can defend himself against the accusations of the Jews. Drusilla may have been present when the prisoner Paul addressed righteousness and temperance in the judgment to come, suggesting that she had transgressed Jewish law and would therefore face the consequences. Her reaction is not known for sure, but it is possible that she mocked Paul. What is known is that her ending was tragic. According to the historian Flavius Josephus, Drusilla and her son died during the eruption of Vesuvius, which buried Pompeii and Herculaneum. Despite the tragedy that claimed hundreds of lives, it is estimated that around 10,000 inhabitants of the region managed to escape with their lives. Since then, the city of Pompeii remained forgotten for centuries. Its rediscovery occurred in the 18th century, during excavations ordered by the Spanish King Charles III, when southern Italy was under Spanish rule. The identification of Pompeii was facilitated by the inscriptions discovered that mentioned the name of the city. It was covered by numerous layers of volcanic material accumulated after the eruption, which helped historians find extremely well-preserved artifacts, essential for reconstructing daily life in the ancient Roman city. As we saw, on the day of the eruption, the volcano's explosions released a large cloud of debris and ash over the city. Residents who were not immediately disintegrated by the intense heat of the pyroclastic flow died from toxic gases and ash inhalation. Volcanic ash, rich in silica, quickly covered the city and the bodies of the victims. By interacting with air humidity and heat, these ash formed a rigid layer that preserved the shape of their bodies, capturing the moment of their deaths and creating detailed molds of their last moments. Over time, the bodies decomposed, leaving a hollow space inside the natural molds. In the 19th century, archaeologist Giuseppe Fiorelli developed a technique for filling these molds with liquid plaster. By pouring liquid plaster into the cavities left by the bodies, he was able to create detailed replicas of the victims. In this way, he was able to preserve and study the human remains in a precise and detailed way, preserving their expressions and postures at the moment of death. In 1997, Pompeii was declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO, and today it is an important tourist site, receiving around 2.5 million visitors annually. However, can Vesuvius become active again, or is it considered an extinct volcano? Records document Vesuvius' volcanic activities between 1631 and 1944. Its last significant eruption occurred in 1944, resulting in the loss of lives of 26 people and leaving 12,000 homeless. Since then, the volcano has remained dormant but not extinct due to the short period since its last activity. This means there is a risk of new volcanic activity. Currently, it is estimated that around 3 million people live in the risk zone around Vesuvius, including the areas near Pompeii, and evacuating them all in a hurry would not be an easy task. As a precaution, the region is continuously monitored, and the government encourages people living in the area to move to avoid another tragedy. And you? What did you think of this video? Leave your opinion in the comments. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for free, activating the bell for all notifications. Until the next video.